Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. On original star number 02881, a being covered with black mist showed up in the sky when the golden horned beast chased Qianyang Knight into the space whirlpool. I saw it correctly. Qianyang Knight flew into this space whirlpool. The being in the black mist nodded. Qianyang Knight resorted to flying speedily in the sky because of the golden horned beast, and the light coming from Qianyang Knight was quite eye-catching. This universe knight of another race had been attracted by it. He immediately sent the information to Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress using the body he had on the outside. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was a supreme being in the Thorn Ring Alliance, and he was one of the top-tier universe overlords. He was a supreme being who could rival the most powerful world tree. The reason why he was called the Lord of a Fortress was that he had a senior flying palace type true treasure, which could protect him from universe masters. Skywolf Palace was only a senior flying palace type true treasure, and it was only slightly better than the fortress. An ordinary true treasure. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was indeed generous. He gave me such an incredible valuable, just for me to track someone down. The being in the black mist started to laugh darkly, then flew into the space whirlpool. The being from black mist showed up in the sky after going through the space whirlpool, and saw a black light in the distance. Though he was tens of millions of miles from it, the domain was so large that he could see clearly what was going on even from afar. This startled him. The power is so extraordinary. It must be a domain-type true treasure. The being from the black mist stayed away from the domain. Suddenly, churning golden rivers collided with the black light. It was as if there were two oceans crashing against each other. The black light kept backing down, as the golden river was just as powerful as it. Two domains dashed against each other. Another domain-type true treasure. The being from the black mist was shocked. Only a few universe overlords have domain-type true treasures. And I see two of them who have it. It seems there are two universe overlords fighting. Is one of them Qianyang Knight? The golden horned beast and Qianyang Knight gazed at each other in the vast forest 60 million miles away from the space whirlpool. Endless black light and golden rivers covered the forest, and the branches, flowers, and grass were destroyed under the shock waves. Humph! Qianyang Knight grew furious and shouted, "Golden horned beast, do you have to fight me?" Qianyang Knight, you should know that you're not escaping this fight, the golden horned beast said, glaring at him from afar. Escape? What makes you think I am escaping? Do you really think your power can rival mine? Humph! I didn't want to fight you in the first place, but I'm not afraid of you. I just didn't want to, which is why I used my domain-type true treasure to intimidate you. But I didn't expect you to have a domain-type true treasure also. Qianyang Knight sneered. It seems you got lucky in the past 20,000 years. The golden horned beast watched from a distance. Qianyang Knight added indifferently, it seems that I have to fight you. Yes, the golden horned beast said in a low voice. Then fight me. Let's finish this as soon as possible. Qianyang Knight was enraged. He didn't think that the golden horned beast could rival him. He had fought a top-tier universe overlord before. He didn't need to be afraid of anyone. Come. The golden horned beast growled. His armor was dark, and the longest horn, surrounded by 5 other horns, was sharp as a blade. There was a black shuttle in each of Qianyang Knight's hands, and he gazed at the golden horned beast coldly. They acted at the same time, dashing at each other, and so did the churning domains. Rolling rocks were formed in front of the black light, while 9 strange beasts showed up in front of the golden river. They both tried to suppress one another's oppositions. Damn golden horned beast! Qianyang Knight transmitted the voice to Luo Feng. Don't you understand that you can't overpower me? And neither can I, you fool. The 8 black shuttles became mesmerizing lights. But the sharp and pervading golden light dissipated all 8 shuttles. The longest horn on the golden horned beast hit Qianyang Knight. Qianyang Knight was stupefied. This was the most terrific attack he had ever endured. Even the attack from the sidekick of Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress hadn't been as powerful as this one. Little did he know that although the Golden Horned Beast's godly body was almost as powerful as the original earthling body of Luo Feng, one of them was 10,081 times, and the other was 9,800 times. And their godly power was almost equally delicate. And both of the attacking techniques they used were the ultimate techniques of Universe Masters, Golden Light. The only difference was that the original earthling body used the senior true treasure weapon Pearl Cutting Blade. The Golden Horned Beast, on the other hand, used the top-tier true treasure armor Beast God Armor, which was as worthy as a pinnacle true treasure, which made it much stronger. Tianyang Knight bounced back, shocked to discover that 22% of his godly body was gone. How? How is it possible? Tianyang Knight found it impossible to believe. Luo Feng was surprised as well. He has a senior true treasure armor. Tianyang Knight had a moderately small godly body, about 24 feet tall. If he were wearing an ordinary true treasure armor, the beast god would have killed Tianyang Knight. Luo Feng could easily feel the resistance from the true treasure armor. If it was Parachopper Knight, thought Luo Feng, even if he had a senior true treasure armor, he would have been killed by the Golden Horned Beast, as his godly body was so small. A senior true treasure armor, the Golden Horned Beast growled. Did you prepare it for the original stars? Tianyang Knight was both angry and shocked. He glared at the Golden Horned Beast in front of him. Indeed, the information shared in the universe said that he had an ordinary true treasure armor, but that was outdated. He had exchanged something for a senior true treasure in his race for the opening of the original star. Last time, the Golden Horned Beast couldn't feel the difference between an ordinary true treasure armor and a senior true treasure armor, as he had been weaker last time. But this time, the Golden Horned Beast could clearly feel it. How? Tianyang Knight demanded, glaring at the Golden Horned Beast. How is it possible? You were much weaker than me before. Stop asking. Die. And the Golden Horned Beast charged again. Want to kill me? Tianyang Knight roared. Don't count on it. Run. Tianyang Knight controlled the black light to resist the Golden Horned Beast, while he shook his wing and tried to flee. The Golden Horned Beast slashed the black light and flew after him. Intricate golden engravings started to flow on the Golden Horned Beast's body, and he used his own body as a weapon, emanating with golden light. Immediately, his speed surged and dashed at Tianyang Knight. What? Tianyang Knight was shocked. He changed his direction, as maneuverability was what he was best at it. I'm good at that, too, said the Golden Horned Beast as he raced toward him. They kept changing directions, redirecting their course dozens of times in less than a single second. Golden Horned Beast body quickly found out that his ability to change directions was inferior to Tianyang Knight. That's right, thought Luo Feng. His black wings and my Shawu wings have the same source. I've been practicing on the path of engraving pictures for 180 million years. Though I cracked the way to manifest 9 Tiger River immediately after I came out, I still couldn't find out the way to perform the third form of the Shawu wings, as that's much more complicated. Luo Feng understood it as it was likely that the black wing also had a third form that his opponent was using. No wonder he couldn't catch Tianyang Knight. You can't catch me. Give up. Tianyang Knight transmitted his voice. He was, however, anxious. The Golden Horned Beast sped up like a beam of golden light, which made him incredibly fast. He had already asked for help from his race, but it would take time for great beings of the automaton race to arrive. Besides, he had fought the Golden Horned Beast before, and he knew that he definitely had the power of a top-tier universe overlord. That meant even if a universe master of automaton race arrived, his control over space and time wouldn't be able to deal with such a great being. The universe master had to fight the Golden Horned Beast. Give up, asked Tianyang Knight. The Golden Horned Beast growled. I didn't want to use my supreme move in the first place, but you're really good at running. Supreme move. Tianyang Knight became terrified. That terrific golden light was already unbelievably powerful, yet it wasn't his supreme move. He couldn't imagine how the golden horned beast, who had been significantly weaker than him before, could be so powerful now. The golden horned beast's eyes looked tranquil, and burning godly power burst out. He was more than 55,000 miles long, and the fight hadn't even consumed 1/60 millionth of his godly power. However, after using the move "I am the universe," the godly power flooded out. Everything was enveloped. The being shrouded in black mist 60 million miles away, who had been following them, suddenly felt everything turning dark. Endless, chaos winds started to blow. The being in the black mist looked around, dazed. What's going on? Why is it dark? The miniature universe was vast and mighty, too, with a diameter of 19 million miles. Chaotic airflow spread, and filled the entire miniature universe. It was a picture of chaos. Golden Horned Beast was stationed in the middle of the miniature universe, and its godly body supplied the energy required by the miniature universe to revolve. Something strange is going on, thought Luo Feng. There is another presence here. A knight of another race. It's Evil Fog Knight from the Thorn Ring Alliance. He is extremely skilled in illusions. He seems to be still looking around at his surroundings, unaware of the situation he is in. The moment Golden Horned Beast successfully brought out the miniature universe, it sensed that there was an additional knight of another race present within the boundaries of the miniature universe. Unquestionably, this unlucky fellow who was about to become a victim. Luo Feng had shrunk the miniature universe on purpose. The miniature universe was able to reach a diameter as big as 600 million miles, but could also shrink to a diameter as small as 6 million miles. If its diameter shrank, its universe membrane would gradually thicken. If its diameter expanded, the membrane would gradually thin down. This was the fundamental theory of why Luo Feng maintained the same amount of godly power supply to the miniature universe. If he increased the amount of godly power supply, the universe membrane would naturally become thicker, and its power would grow stronger. With a smaller diameter of merely 19 million miles, a being of another race could still enter. Seems to me he must have seen it all, Luo Feng said to himself. Indeed, Evil Fog Knight had been observing for a long time from a long distance away. He had witnessed the fight between Golden Horned Beast and Qianyang Knight at the border of their respective domain-type true treasures, and he clearly saw that it was the Golden Horned Beast who was hunting down Qianyang Knight by watching the two enter the space whirlpool one after the other. Based on this information, Luo Feng easily came up with some quick inferences. You can consider yourself to be unlucky. Luo Feng's thought flashed through his mind in a split second, maybe not even 1/10,000th of a second, and the next moment, Golden Horned Beast rushed at Qianyang Knight. This? What place is this? Said Qianyang Knight. He looked at his surroundings with fear. There was an endless chaotic airflow all around him. Is it Universe Ocean? No, I was on the original star. How would I suddenly fall into this place? Could this be a domain-type true treasure? He already owns a domain-type true treasure, so how could he be using another domain-type true treasure? Waves of the Golden River came surging from afar. From the front of the Golden River, a stampede of 9 great beasts was seen rushing to the fore, and behind them was the Golden Horned Beast. Have to block it, said Qianyang Knight. His eyes were filled with crazed panic. He wanted to block the vast darkness, but it useless. It was like a giant truck rolling over a small car. With the universe laws empowering the entire miniature universe, the power of the Golden River soared by 1 level in an instant. And Qianyang Knight's domain-type true treasure was, in turn, suppressed by the universe laws of the miniature universe. Thus, its power was lowered by 1 level. This come-and-go cycle brought about a vast difference between the two domain-type true treasures, which were actually not so different from each other at the start. Like cracking icebergs, the vast blackness was easily shattered. It was unable to protect Qianyang Knight at all. What? Qianyang Knight was shocked. I must escape. Qianyang Knight turned and attempted to make a speedy escape. However, the moment the mighty golden waves collided with the darkness, Qianyang Knight was shrouded by the golden waves. After 9 Tiger River increased its power by 1 level, Flying within its domain would be extremely difficult even for someone like Qian Yang Knight. At that moment, Golden Horned Beast managed to close the distance and appeared before Qian Yang Knight. Golden Horned Beast. Qian Yang Knight roared with rage as he waved the light shuttles his 8 arms were holding. "It's useless," Golden Horned Beast growled. Golden rays lit up once again. Under these sharp and unsympathetic golden rays, the 8 black light shuttles that looked so beautiful were cast away like paper. Qian Yang Knight's godly body seemed so helpless in the face of the long, sharp horns of Golden Horned Beast. Following the fearsome impact of the collision between both Knight and Beast, the entire space shook with tremors. With eyes still filled with unwillingness to resign to his fate, Qian Yang Knight's godly body was annihilated, and he wordlessly vanished into thin air. Pity, Luo Feng reflected silently. The moment I use the ultimate technique of a universe master, I will not be able to reduce his power accurately. If I could grasp a better control of accuracy, I might have been able to put Qian Yang Knight into a deep slumber. The stronger the great being, the more difficult it was to put it into a deep slumber. Normally, when the godly bodies of undying emperors were consumed to slightly more than 10% remaining, they would need to go into a deep slumber. However, the willpower of universe overlords was incomparably strong, their godly powers were much purer, so even if they were left with only 5%, or even 3% of their godly bodies, they might still be able to maintain a clear consciousness for a split second to self-destruct their remaining godly bodies. Most would avoid fighting a universe overlord until only 1% of its godly body was left before it could be put to a deep slumber. But this was much too difficult in a battle of life and death. It was tough to use all the ultimate techniques to put up a good fight, yet without the confidence to fight an opponent till its godly body was left with exactly 1%, especially when the opponent was a great being with a horribly fearsome consciousness. A universe master, even when his godly body was down to 1%, was able to maintain a moment of consciousness. Such universe masters would rather self-destruct than risk subjecting themselves to a lifetime of slavery. The more powerful a being was, the more difficult it would be to enslave it. The only way to have a strong slave was to enslave it during its weak periods. Then, when the being grew in power, they would naturally find themselves with stronger slaves. Under the impact of the collision, Qian Yang Knight's black armor, silver wings, weapons, world ring, and some other valuable items scattered in all directions. "All come here," commanded Luo Feng. With a single thought, everything within the control of the miniature universe that had once belonged to the annihilated Qian Yang Knight was speedily manipulated and flew right up to Golden Horned Beast. Upon infusing his godly power, the items quickly started to recognize their new master, one after the other. This led Luo Feng to realize that Qian Yang Knight certainly did not have the talent of dividing bodies. Keep. Luo Feng stored every item in his world ring right away. Then he turned and looked off into the distance. About 6 million miles away, a black, misty figure stood surveying its surroundings with due diligence. "Meet your doom," Luo Feng said under his breath. A great volume of chaotic airflow rolled over the black, misty figure in a frenzied manner. The airflow seemed to separate into 2 parts. One part revolved in a clockwise direction, while the other revolved counterclockwise, just like a gigantic grinder. And right in the middle was the black, misty figure. "Universe grinder, roll and crush," Luo Feng commanded in a cold demeanor. The miniature universe was the most powerful talent technique, more powerful than golden light, which he had created by one whole level. It consisted of many different tactics. For example, there were normal ones like the suppression by universe laws, and rolling and crushing by universe grinder. Plus, there were also ultimate tactics that were the most powerful ones, like explosion of universe. The ordinary tactics were not considered powerful. For instance, using the tactic rolling and crushing by universe grinder would not have been enough to kill Qian Yang Knight. However, to a senior universe knight who did not have a single ordinary true treasure armor to speak of, using the universe grinder with a power level that was 1 notch higher than that of 9 Tiger River, let alone the power of a miniature universe, would be more than enough to grind him to death. Evil Fog Knight was surveying his surroundings carefully when suddenly, he felt an upheaval between heaven and earth, and the 2 great airflows seemed to enshroud him. Like a grinder moving in opposite directions, the airflow closed in around him, rolling and crushing his body in a frenzied manner. Evil Fog Knight screamed in pain. The rolling and crushing consumed his godly body quickly, from 90% to 70% and then to 50%. The loss was happening at an alarming rate. Let me go. I bear no enmity. Evil Fog Knight was so fearful that he shouted repeatedly. Let me go. But there was no stopping it in this vast, chaotic world. Evil Fog Knight was in despair, and could only bear hatred in his heart. He had not expected to meet his end by obeying Fan Nuo Fortress Master's command. Evil Fog Knight roared. Damn it. With only 30% of his godly body left, Evil Fog Knight roared his reluctance, but decided to choose self-destruction. The impact spread in all directions. Evil Fog Knight was annihilated. Not even a single true treasure, said Luo Feng. Why even bother putting up a struggle? The miniature universe was put away and disappeared in the blink of the eye. Peace returned between heaven and earth. Hovering in mid-air, only the golden horned beast remained. All valuables left behind by Tian Yang Knight and Evil Fog Knight, after they were annihilated, had been claimed. I had not expected to lose almost 10% of my godly body in such a short fight, Luo Feng mused to himself. Opening his miniature universe and charging at Tian Yang Knight had taken nearly 3 seconds. Killing Tian Yang Knight and taking away his treasures had not taken him more than 2 seconds. Using the universe grinder to roll and crush Evil Fog Knight, however, had taken close to 3 seconds. Collecting all the treasures also used up almost a second. All in all, it had taken close to 9 seconds. Go. Golden Horned Beast spread its wings, shot up into the sky at high speed, and departed. Luo Feng spent almost a day's worth of traveling before he finally made it out the original star, and shortly after, he made it back to his god country. In his god country, the vast place was expanding gradually and continuously. Similarly, the limitless remote ocean was also growing bigger every minute. In nearly 20,000 years, my remote ocean has grown quite a bit. Donning his suit of silver armor, Luo Feng looked down at everything with a smile. True treasures. He commanded with a wave. The next moment, many true treasures started emerging in mid-air, one after the other. Many of these hanging in mid-air were loot he had gained from his victories on the original stars in the past year. The majority were merely ordinary true treasures, and the number of senior true treasures were extremely few. However, killing Tian Yang Knight had been quite rewarding. Other than what he really sought, the pair of wings that was a true treasure, the others that he collected included an ordinary true treasure series, the 8 shuttles, a senior true treasure armor, and an ordinary domain-type true treasure. Tian Yang Knight certainly did live up to his identity as a knight of the automaton clan. This pair of wings is the most important true treasure I have gained, Luo Feng whispered as he held the pair of wings. Originally, he had thought that the true treasure was a pair of black wings. However, following the death of Tian Yang Knight, the wings returned to their original color, which was silver, the exact same color as his Shawu wings. The true treasure pair of wings shook gently as Luo Feng held it, as though it was trying to break free from his grasp and fly away. Roar! Golden Horned Beast was approaching from afar. At the same time, a beautiful pair of silver wings detached itself from him. Go! Luo Feng let go of the wings. Instantly, the true treasure pair of wings flew away and approached the Shawu wings, which were also drawing close at high speed. The moment the 2 pairs of silver wings, equally beautiful, touched, the feathers on the wings, which were sharp as blades, started bouncing at high speed. The bottom sections of both pairs of wings sported silver rays of light that were flashing quickly. The 2 pairs of wings, both true treasures, were under a continuous integration process. Qualitative changes started to emerge. A gargantuan burst of power was released and spread through the surroundings. The burst of power given out at that moment was the real deal. This combination was the moment when this mysterious true treasure made an appearance in its truest form. So strong. Such awesome power, marveled Luo Feng, suspended in mid-air. He felt dumbfounded by it, yet at the same time, he was increasingly anticipating the result. His emotions were running high. The two true treasure wings started to merge with each other like two incredibly delicate instruments, and the engravings on the true treasures formed a larger and more mysterious engraving. The energy permeated. It felt like a long time to watch the scene, but it actually only took less than a minute. Then everything went back to normal. The giant silver wing was still open in the stillness, and it was mesmerizing. Unlike the other seemingly plain true treasures Luo Feng had, it was as if it were actively showcasing its beauty. 4 wings. Luo Feng looked at the silver-winged true treasure. The two sets of wings had connected to produce 4 wings. Come, Shawu wing, let me feel your power. He still called it Shawu, but the silver wing flew toward Luo Feng and merged with him. Luo Feng immediately opened the silver wing, which continued emanating endless power. The wing opened, resulting in changes in the space and time around it. Space and time, said Luo Feng. The engravings on the true treasure wing I got from Tianyang Night were of time law, and my original Shawu wings had engravings of time law. Combined, they can affect the space and time around them. Luo Feng felt the wings on his back trembling. He kept infusing the wings with his godly power, so that he could carefully study the engraving on it. Though he had never studied time law before, he was still studying into the time law engravings on the wing. After only half an hour of studying, he grasped the elementary power of the new wing. All 4 wings on Luo Feng's back started to move swiftly. Above the boundless remote ocean appeared tens of millions of images of Luo Feng. Incredible! Luo Feng whispered. This move can lead to disorder in space and time. I'll name the first form of my new Shawu wings disorder in space and time. Before the merge, the second form of Shawu wing could lead to space disturbance, and the second form of light wing could lead to time disturbance. As for the first form of the new wings, disorder in space and time, it was a combination of space disturbance and time disturbance. It completely twisted the space and time, which made this move unpredictable and mysterious. And it was only the first form of the new wings. There's a second form. Luo Feng went back to study. After 3 days of study, Luo Feng gave up. After all, he didn't have a solid foundation in time law, which meant he wasn't able to derive the second form even if he could derive the first form, with his accomplishments in engravings and familiarity with his Shawu wings. He speculated that the second form of the new wings must be the combination of the third form of Shawu wings and that of light wings. Also, I don't think the new wing is complete. Luo Feng frowned. Though the engravings on the new wings are extremely complicated, some parts are still missing. Luo Feng had very broad horizons. After all, he had created ultimate techniques of universe masters, and he often studied the engravings of the miniature universe. Though he still hadn't completed that, he could tell that there were engravings missing in the new wing. Does that mean there's a third wing? Luo Feng was shocked. That was right. These 2 wings were definitely only parts of the complete wing, and based on his knowledge of engravings, there should be a third part. The power from the combination of the first 2 wings could rival that of a top-tier true treasure. Luo Feng was thrilled. If I can acquire the third wing, the power will definitely surge. Don't think about it, he thought. Teacher Primal Chaos City Leader had the Shawu wings for a long time, and even he didn't know that the original Shawu wing was only part of a whole. I was just lucky enough to meet Tianyang Night, and knew that 2 wings attracted each other. Luo Feng knew that Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't bear any responsibility, as it was impossible to tell the missing part only based on the original Shawu wings, or the original light wings. Shawu wings had pure space engravings while light wings had pure time engravings. Both sets of engravings were perfect, and hence it was impossible to tell what was missing. However, after they were combined, a pivot part was missing between time and space. And the lack of that pivot rendered the wing less powerful than its ideal status. Luo Feng wasn't even able to derive the third form of Shawu wing, and he realized that it would take him a long time to understand the second form of his new Shawu wings. The wings are much stronger, regardless. As for the third wing, I'll have to see if I'm lucky enough to find it. Luo Feng triggered his mind. The true treasures floating in the distance started to be automatically classified. Remote ocean body. A godly body 5,500 miles tall showed up beside Luo Feng. Take the senior true treasure armor. Domain type true treasure. And a senior true treasure blade. Luo Feng immediately armed the remote ocean body with the senior true treasure armor and the domain type true treasure from Qianyang Knight. As for the senior true treasure blade, it came from one of the 5 universe overlords Luo Feng had killed. Take some precious material, treasures, and some other objects, and go back to the earth, Luo Feng thought. Remote ocean body shrunk to 6 feet tall, carrying black armor and a purple blade, exchanged eye contact with Luo Feng, and then teleported himself out of the god country. It's useless to leave all those true treasures in my god country, said Luo Feng. Teacher True Yang must be craving some true treasures. I'll choose a suitable one for him later. Luo Feng smiled and put the golden horned beast body and Mosha body away. In the space outside Earth. Remote ocean body, dressed in black armor and carrying a purple blade, was standing in the atmosphere. His godly power started to envelop the Earth. From now on, he would be tasked with guarding the Earth and the Luo Feng's family. Luo Feng made that decision because he found out that remote ocean body was useless around him. The godly power of remote ocean body was 1/10 as delicate as that of the golden horned beast, and it was only 1,000th as large as the golden horned beast. The original earthling body could draw energies from the golden horned beast when his godly body was consumed, and the golden horned beast body could recover in no time. As for self-destruction, the power from blowing up the remote ocean body couldn't even compare to that of the ultimate technique of Universe Masters, Golden Light. Which meant remote ocean body couldn't help at all. However, remote ocean body had strong combat power innately, plus a senior true treasure armor, a blade, the domain type true treasure, and the ultimate technique of Universe Masters, Golden Light. His power was only slightly weaker than that of the original earthling body, and could easily outpower an ordinary universe overlord. He was adequate to guard the Earth. Luo Feng had left his family's keepsakes, so that he could sense it when his families were in danger if his family members crushed the keepsakes. Still, it would be better for him to guard the Earth himself. While remote ocean body went to Earth and started to stand guard, Luo Feng went back the original stars. Inside the Thorn Ring Alliance, in front of a towering palace, a universe master was performing turning back time. A shadow stood in the black mist, and the space and time around him were being reversed. However, he kept standing still while bearing all the backlash of universe operation law. After a long while, everything went back to normal. The universe overlord nodded into the distance and went back to his palace. Thank you, universe master. A giant man bowed. I'm alive again. Evil Fog Knight stood there, dazed and overjoyed. Evil Fog Knight, the giant man growled, and Evil Fog immediately flew to the giant man and gave a salutation. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress. I told you to follow Qianyang Knight, and I meant to get there as soon as possible, but I didn't expect you to be killed, the giant man said. I asked Hu Master to turn back time to resurrect you. As for the price, I'll bear it. Evil Fog Knight relieved. It was costly to turn back time and resurrect someone. What happened? How did you die? Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress questioned. This is what happened, said Evil Fog Knight. I saw Qianyang Knight and a golden horned beast fly into the space whirlpool, and I reported it to you. After that, you asked me to follow them. I went into the space whirlpool and saw them fighting each other, and both of them had domain-type true treasures. Indeed, that Qianyang Knight has a domain-type true treasure. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress snorted. He got it by luck. They were fighting, Evil Fog Knight continued. I thought Qianyang Knight was caught up in the fight too, so I hid elsewhere to watch, as I didn't dare get pulled into the domain. It was a brutal fight, and their domain-type true treasures were at the same level. One belonged to Qianyang Knight, and the other to the golden horned beast. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress listened carefully. Qianyang Knight was obviously the weaker one, and he soon attempted to run away, said Evil Fog Knight. Run away? The weaker one? Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress was startled. Did you recognize which knight the golden horned beast is? No. I have never seen him. Evil Fog Knight shook his head. I tried to follow them, but then, Evil Fog Knight looked shocked. Suddenly, it turned dark, and I was trapped in darkness. I was surrounded by dark air. Dark surroundings. And dark air. Lord of Fan Nuo Fortress looked puzzled. Was it chaos airflow? This video will end here.